Hello Internet, I'm your only mate, and it's time for a new episode of Death Battle. This time we have Alucard from Helsing versus Dio Brando from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Now, as I should say, with all my reactions, please click the link in the description below to go watch the actual episode itself before watching mine or anyone's reactions. Don't be a dick, support the official release. Okay, I alluded to this in my last video. This change, because this weekend I'm at a wedding, but I had some time to record this. I don't know 100% if I'll be able to actually have this out in time, but hey, if it's out like relatively soon after the death battle is public, then okay, I was able to do it. If it came out sometime after, then you know why. Okay, how do I know these characters? Not very well. I mostly just know Alucard from the Abridged series, and I do know that Taka is voicing Alucard in this episode, so there's that. Dio, I've mostly just heard memes and just references. So while I'm not too familiar or attached to these characters, I don't really have a horse in this race. I've heard from both sides. Oh, Alucard takes this. No, Dio takes this. Like, it's... I'm honestly not sure, but I do know this is a Most Wanted from Liam Swan, a member of the Death Battle team. He's talked about this for years. I remember him constantly saying Dio wins, like, before he even joined Death Battle. So I kind of want to go with that, just because I don't really know. But anyway, I'll find out for sure after the analysis. And, I'm also a little cautious to even hit play because I'm not going to lie, the Wi-Fi in here isn't the best. But I will play it by ear and see how this goes. Hopefully this won't be a huge pain to edit. Also, I'm doing my best not to be too loud, because there are other people in this hotel, and if you do hear some like background noise, like whatever, that's why. Also, the audio, I don't have my good microphone with me, this is just my camera, so if the audio is different, that's why. Anyway, without further ado, I'm gonna put these on, shut up, hit play, and watch some vampires fight. Wow, 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 wow.
Dio Brando, everlasting adversary of the Joestar bloodline.
Alucard, undying enforcer of the Helsing organization.
Vampires, the spawn of nightmares formed from the blackest pits of man's demented imagination.
Anime, basically the same thing. What do you get when you combine them? Two of the meanest monsters out there. He's Wiz and I'm Boomstick.
I'm sure that's probably
It's
Mina.
about to analyze their weapons, armor, and skills
to find out who would win a death battle.
Imagine
Alright, I've
someone so wicked
heard
the sheer
stuff about
magnitude
Dio, so
of holy dickishness
let's see.
literally destroyed the universe.
You might think they'd have to be no less than the devil himself, but it was him, Dio.
Born a penniless,
Of course they're referencing that.
mind in the slums of Victorian London, Dio was humiliated by his poverty and abused by his alcoholic father.
His bitter resentment and small dick energy would lead to a lifelong desire for ultimate power and immortality, to reach a place over.
Oh yeah, his stand is
And
the world.
he'd get his chance to act when he was adopted into the wealthy Joestar family. Dio planned to kill his new father, George Joestar, and take his fortune for himself. Only one thing stood in
Okay.
his way. His new
Back
brother,
where I was.
Jonathan Joestar, aka
JoJo. Okay.
Dio tried to go all alpha wolf on JoJo by engaging in such classic sibling pranks as beating him up, molesting his girlfriend, and setting his dog on fire. Jesus!
What the
Give that
fuck?
creepy dog murderer what for, JoJo?
But after
Jesus.
years of emotional manipulation, Dio's twisted assassination plot was foiled by his righteous stepbrother.
with help from the interfering Speedwagon. All seemed lost until Dio pulled out his Plan B, an ancient stone mask that turned him into a vampire. That's just bizarre.
Okay, so he's not technically
Course.
a vampire like, say, Dracula. Instead of turning you into an unholy demon, the stone mask eliminates your body's natural limitations.
Making him way stronger, faster, and tougher than any human. He can hear a heartbeat through the ground, fly through the air, and
Oh, shit.
hypnotize you with just a glance.
It gets
Oh.
weirder. Dio can create
Oh, boy.
mind-controlling flesh buds from his hair follicles, vaporize the
The
moisture
fuck?
in his body to freeze anything he touches, and fire beams of pressurized fluids that can split the sky.
Pressurized. Oh, sometimes it's too easy, Wiz. Even more insane is Dio's healing factor. He's been burnt alive, impaled through the head, bisected, decapitated, lost limbs, filled with bullets, and had
Jesus
a
Christ.
pushed in his chest not once, not twice, but 3 times.
Another similar vampire, Straight, survived being blown to pieces and just pulled himself back together.
All Dio needs is some blood to speed up the process, so he is basically a vampire.
how
I guess the
was-
fangs are just for decoration because he sucks blood through his fingers.
Oh!
Dio
God,
used
that's a new way to do it.
zombie army to conquer the world and feed a baby to its own mother. Just for kicks.
What
A lot of kinds of shit on this show, Wiz, but I'm starting to think Dio takes the cake. Luckily, his
I mean, it's either him or Eobard, but Jesus.
who beat Dio's ass with a martial art that uses the power of the sun. Hamon.
Because, should Dio's vampire body be subjected to sunlight, he will instantly disintegrate.
So, what did Dio do? Well, he cut off his own head, killed Jonathan on his wedding night, and attached his head to Jojo's body. Wow.
What?
Cake taken for sure.
After a brief century in a coffin at the bottom of the ocean, Dio resurfaced in Egypt and tried once again to take over the world. His ultimate goal was to create a world where everyone knew their own fate and could make peace with the inevitable tragedies life had in store. In Dio's mind, heaven.
And he'd make it happen no matter how many breads he'd have to eat.
I was about to question why so much bread.
By a mystical arrow, sure, why not, Dio gained a stand, the embodiment of a user's life force. Since they're made of psychic energy, stands can only be seen by stand users, and can only be hurt by...
Yep, I remember this from Jotaro vs. Kenshiro.
...for any opponent lacking similar abilities.
Ow. Hey, look, Wiz, I got a stand. I call it 99 bottles. Ora. Oh, shit. Don't worry, Wiz. I'll change you back with your D-Transmode.
Doesn't he have clones from Blake vs. Mikasa, though?
Ooh, look, a giant beer.
As before,
He just drank Wes.
men, Dio received one of the most powerful stands in
What the
history,
fuck?
the
I
world,
want to know.
with its ability to stop
I had
time.
to say it.
Time, huh? Thanks for the... Ow!
Hey!
Well, not only does his time stop at each use, he can...
Had to be a reason I was wearing this.
He's a massive
Ah,
troll.
okay.
Is absurdly strong and fast.
Stop doing that.
The stand Star Platinum, which belongs to Jonathan's great-great-grandson, Jotaro Kujo. He technically inherited it from Dio through Jonathan's body and bloodline, making Star Platinum and the world the same stand.
And
What?
both are 2 of the strongest stands out there, just as strong as Stone Free, which can punch meteors that were pulled to Earth in seconds.
By measuring the distance the meteors are from Earth, we can estimate they were moving at over 11 million meters per
Second. Okay, please let that be synced up. I'm sorry, I'm having so many tech issues.
41 kilotons of TNT.
Not that crazy when you can throw punches that are faster than light. No, really, Star Platinum kept up with this stand, Silver Chariot.
Ah, yeah, I remember this.
A beam of light.
Looking at the interval Silver Chariot's sword swung relative to the light beam, it must have moved over 1,500 times the speed of light. And Dio
Jesus.
himself has matched Star Platinum on his own, and taken its punches head on.
Yeah, but
Ouch.
that's nothing compared to Dio's secret weapon, the greatest weapon in anime history.
Of course.
Steamroller. Turns out Dio's a hell of a chef. He can make pancakes and donuts.
Even so, despite having a massive god complex, Dio's still a careful tactician capable of exploiting an opponent's weaknesses.
Too bad he wasn't prepared for Jotaro to learn how to stop time too and murder the shit out of him. That's some hardcore karma right there. It only makes sense that a dog murderer would die like a bitch.
Much like the
I love that.
machinations of great and terrible men,
That's a good line.
was immortal. In time, his greatest follower succeeded in extinguishing the Joestar bloodline and literally remaking the universe in Dio's image, creating that heaven he always dreamed of.
I guess when you're named after a rock star, a movie star, and, oh, that's right, God, you're pretty much bound for greatness.
You thought your first kiss would be JoJo, but it was
Dio! Okay, I'm sorry for like all this resyncing. I just want to be sure because I'm having so many different
no dreads.
tech
Although
issues.
The world seems full of good men, there are monsters in it.
But don't worry, jolly old England has it covered with the Helsing organization.
Jolly old
By
England!
famous vampire hunter Abraham Van Helsing and led by his descendant Integra, this secret government institution has saved the world time and again with their secret weapon.
And what better weapon to hunt vampires than with one of their very own, the no-life king, the bird of Hermes, Alucard.
To most, his origin was shrouded in mystery.
He'll got millions, oh
In
god.
Helsing's employ, he was molded into an elite hunter.
There's a little
made even
goal
more
during
vicious
World War
by his
II.
intense hatred of his fellow vampires.
I'm not sure if I want to know.
The hatred that he expresses with two of the gnarliest handguns you'll ever pray to your infinite god to never see in person.
Alucard's primary.
Those are some
vampire
pretty cool
was a
guns.
A behemoth of a handgun able to kill most undead in one shot with holy bullets that can nullify a vampire's healing factor.
The Jackal is the handgun she told you not to worry about. 16 inches long and weighing 35 pounds. Its armor-piercing,
Jesus.
hollow-point bullets, jacketed in blessed Macedonian silver, were built to annihilate the toughest monsters.
And after decades of clandestine experimentation, Helsing enhanced
fuck?
Alucard's vampiric abilities far beyond the norm.
Alucard can walk through walls, cast illusions, levitate, and move objects with his mind. Objects like, say, an ocean of over 3 million people's blood?
Oh,
That'd be
God.
worth half a ton of TNT.
His psychic prowess
Really?
allows
Just
him
that
to
much?
read minds, communicate telepathically, hypnotize with a glance, and see through hallucinations with his third eye.
He's not a Triclops. It's more of a sixth sense that lets him hit bullseyes from a kilometer away and even predict your movements. Kinda like the Sharon guy.
Okay.
Of course, he wouldn't be a real vampire if he couldn't drink blood. The catch is, when he drinks enough blood to kill you, he literally absorbs your soul. And that right there is
Lovely.
the source of his most fearsome ability.
You just can't kill the sumbitch. Shoot him into Swiss cheese, blow his ass to smithereens, turn him into a literal blood puddle. He'll just regenerate his body lickety-split. Like we've seen some overpowered heroes
I've heard about
on the
that.
show before, but Alucard's is just bullshit.
While he does possess blood and organs like a regular human, Alucard's body is in reality composed of an ethereal, shadow-like substance that he can morph any way he wants. This allows him to shapeshift and instantly heal any wound. And each soul Alucard has consumed acts as an extra life that he can spend whenever he's fatally injured. Kind of like a video game.
And after
So he just has infinite
years of
continues,
godlife,
basically.
Alucard has consumed literally millions of souls. Order. Yay! Here.
Just like me.
Order. Helsing needed a beast as fearsome as
Wait,
Alucard.
if Wiz has consumed so many clones, why does he... so many souls, why does he need the clones?
Like evil squared.
Like when Millennium SS Lieutenant Rip Van Winkle commandeered a British aircraft
Winkle.
carrier as part of an invasion of London.
Alucard didn't like that very much, so he jackknifed it with an SR-71 Blackbird at Mach 3.
A fully loaded Blackbird weighs 170,000 pounds, meaning it's struck with a kinetic energy of 11 tons of TNT. That's as powerful
Okay.
as the US Massive Ordnance Air Blast.
AKA the mother of all bombs. And Al was in the middle of that and strolled out like it was nothing.
Just as impressive
Like
as
a badass.
intercepting Rip's magic bullets. Comparing the distance one bullet moved to the jet in the same time frame as the jet's own movement, each bullet would have to be moving at
fuck?
1,500 times the speed of sound.
And Alucard caught one with his friggin' teeth.
Okay, so it sounds like Dio's way faster.
Meaning, he drove that aircraft carrier back to shore with his mind to fight two separate armies at the same time. What a goddamn monster!
It goes without saying that Alucard's immense power and bloodlust needed to be controlled, so 6 restriction levels were placed on him that he can release against dangerous opponents.
Okay,
6 through 2 are for
let's hear about this. So I'm really curious about these things.
And forgetting this gnarly demon doggo made from his shadow essence, Baskerville.
But there exists an even greater state of power Alucard can release when he wants to end the world. Level 0.
Once activated, Level 0 releases every single soul Alucard has consumed as a sea of blood-soaked zombies. All 3 million
Jesus
of them.
Christ!
Sure, with his souls gone, he can't heal as easily, and if his heart is destroyed, he'll die permanently. But the sheer numbers and power of this army from hell makes him virtually impossible to approach in the first place.
He's unstoppable! This guy's got to be like the king of all vampires!
Indeed, he is. Hellsing purposely kept Alucard's true identity a secret, all in the codename. Alucard backwards is
Dracula? Yeah, duh, Wiz, idiot.
Over 500 years ago, the Wallachian voivode Vlad Dracula battled the Ottoman Turks for control over Eastern Europe, and impaled thousands of people in the process. Hence his historical name, Vlad the Impaler.
But things didn't end up too good for him. Right before his execution, he took a big old sip of some blood from the battlefield, sacrificing his humanity in order to become an immortal creature of the night.
And that is when the legend was born. But it wasn't anything Dracula was proud of. He grew to despise his monstrous nature and saw it as cowardice. The main reason he hated other vampires so much was that he really hated himself.
Oh, that's deep, Wiz. Maybe that's why he always lets his enemies rip into him like a pinata of self-loathing.
Oh, God.
His crazy OP healing factor will fix everything anyways.
Millennium would exploit this arrogance by
Jesus.
tricking Alucard into absorbing the soul and abilities of Schrödinger, a German cat boy who controls his own quantum state. This
What?
grants him pseudo-omnipresence and immortality. He can exist everywhere and nowhere, and cannot die so long as he can recognize his own existence.
But because Al had 3 million souls kicking around inside him, Schrödy couldn't recognize himself anymore, forcing him, and thus Alucard, to fade out of existence.
So Alucard spent 30 years killing the other 3 million souls inside of him until he could return to reality and his master. He undid his own unexistence.
No matter how spoopy the threat, Alucard will show no mercy. He's just waiting for the day he meets a noble human warrior strong enough to end his unlife for good.
But should he face a fellow monster, a fool who rejected their humanity like himself, he'll let loose the dogs of war, and all hell will sing.
I'm a dog. Then you're dog food.
Pause. Okay, so that last little bit with Alucard's whole Schrödinger thing, that did get me a little bit, I don't know about this, but I kind of want to say I think Dio's going to win, because he sounds way faster, a lot more powerful, given that he survived like kilotons of TNT, while Alucard survived like, the highest they gave him was like 11 tons. They could be hiding other things later on, and maybe I just wasn't paying attention to catch said things, so that would be on me. But there's also the fact that I want to say Alucard's regen is better, but a few things I did pick up on doing the analysis that could put it in Dio's favor. Dio might be more powerful, so Alucard would have to go, like, restriction 0 to kill him. And while in that state, he's vulnerable. So we can just... There we go. Okay. So all Dio has to do is figure this out, like they said he's prone to do, and just get up close to Alucard and kill him there. And of course, well, Alucard doesn't have a counter to time stopping, which Dio can do. So with all that, I want to say Dio is going to win. So, Let's see what happens. Shut up, hit play, and let's watch this freaking fight. Alright, the combatants are set, and we've run the data through all possibilities.
It's time for a death battle!
Seriously, do not pause anymore. Well, I mean, more tech issues, okay? Jesus.
You interrupted my dinner.
Funny, I was just thinking about having mine.
That's a good line.
Means take a bite.
That's also a good line, but... Dio, if you die horribly, you're gonna look like a moron. Yeah, bullets are not gonna do it.
Checkmate.
Oh, that's a lot of knives, but it's a durability.
You thought you'd triumph, but it was I. Dio?
Love how they twisted that. Jesus.
If I'm a dog, you're dog food. Huh?
They had to work that in there. It's gonna take more than that.
Hearing you scream.
Boy, that's a lot of blood. Hey, it's the zombies from Leon vs. Frank.
What the hell are you?
A real fucking family.
Hey, they worked in the line. I like that. Man, I just don't know. Jesus. That is cool.
You want blood, you disgusting monster? Choke on your own.
I want to rule the world!
I'm not entirely sure what's happening at the moment, but it looks good for Dio, so... See how this goes?
Empire King, bow to your new god!
The bird of Hermes is my name, eating my wings to make me tame.
Useless, useless, useless.
I don't know if he's even in, like, restraint level 0 at the moment, because if he is, then... Alright, Dio's just 1, but... He did it? Hey!
Alucard pulled out all the stops, but like the bloody dragon.
I genuinely just was not sure.
Finger gun.
But...
He may have been.
I feel good that I went with Dio.
But Dio had everything he needed to clip the bird of Hermes' wings.
Alucard's strategy in most fights is to heal from an opponent's attacks until they get tired, then take advantage of an opening. But he couldn't do that.
Always the
because
best.
Dio didn't really have any openings, and Alucard wasn't nearly as strong or as fast to compensate.
Alucard could survive crashing that jet and move 1,500 times faster than sound. But scaling from Stone Flea
There we
and
go.
Silver Chariot, the world could punch relativistic meteors and move 1,500 times faster than light. That would make Dio nearly 40,000 times stronger and 800,000 times faster.
Jesus
than Alucard.
Christ.
Hell, Alucard couldn't even see or hurt the world in the first place because he's not a stand user. And since stone mask vampires from JoJo aren't weak to holy weapons like Helsing vampires are, Al's guns were more or less dead weight.
Plus, Alucard just had no way to get past the time stop. Even if he did somehow, Dio could just freeze him on contact.
And considering Dio has taken
I didn't even think about that.
Platinum, Hal would have had trouble doing damage even if he got the chance.
Dio's far greater speed and power meant that, given enough time, he could realistically kill Alucard 3 million times in quick succession. Without any viable options for attack or openings to exploit, Alucard's soul-based regeneration meant he would run out of lives eventually, and level 0 only sped up that process.
Sure, that arm is nothing to scoff at, but consider the time Dio's eye beams split those huge-ass clouds.
Estimating the size of the
Oh, yeah,
as
shit.
they moved, Dio's beams must have output an energy
Always
of over
clouds.
10 megatons of TNT, enough to wipe out Alucard's army in one go, leaving him vulnerable. Just like when this other vampire, Walter, could have killed him by piercing his heart. Alucard's even admitted it himself.
Hell, Alucard's army is filled with blood. You know, that thing that Dio uses to heal? But Wiz, what about Schrodinger? With his powers, Al can't die unless he chooses to.
While Schrodinger's quantum immortality makes him impossible
Jesus.
to kill normally, it is literally part of the story that Alucard cannot have Schrodinger's abilities and his greater array of powers at the same time, or else he'll no longer exist. We can't give him both Schrodinger and his standard powers without breaking the lore and rules of the character.
Even if we did, it
Makes
doesn't
sense.
really matter. It doesn't help him kill Dio at all, so at best it'd be a stalemate. Until Dio hypnotizes Alucard, asks him about his powers, and forces him to eject Schrody like the rest of his souls.
Shocking though it may be, Dio's overwhelming offense, impenetrable defense, and uniquely devastating abilities wore Alucard down until the No-Life King had no lives left.
Alucard got Dio-owned!
Boomstick, you tell the worst puns in the world.
That's right, and you're just gonna have to Dio with it. Hey, wait a minute, that's my territory! We talked about this!
The winner is Dio.
Okay, congrats, Dio.
Thanks for watching the show. We really hope you enjoyed that episode of Death Battle. If you're looking for something
That was a
to watch
weird,
right
but
now,
yeah,
just
really
look
fun
up on the
episode.
screen and check out Red vs. Blue Family Shatters, where the Red
I-
versus Blue
I need to
hero
check that out at
goes
some
on
point.
all sorts of wacky antics. It's really fun.
Alright, what's happening next? It's either Korra or Akuma, I'm thinking. It's Akuma versus... Is it? Yes! Oh my god, finally! The fight they should have had. Oh my god. Okay. Alright, real quick talking about this. That was a really good episode. I enjoyed it. It did keep me on the edge of my seat just because I wasn't really entirely sure about the verdict. Just going into it, but glad I went with my gut and stuck with Dio. So, yeah, also kind of surprised they actually found a way to work this in there. I feel even better wearing the shirt. I kind of had to because, you know, it's the meme that Liam kind of started and this is his episode, so, yeah. Yeah, and they also referenced that, like, one of the few lines from the Abridged series that I do remember, the real fucking vampire line, so I really appreciate that. God, that was a really bloody fight. I mean, considering an ocean of blood came out, like, would have to be. I'm gonna have to watch that fight, like, a few more times, like, at least. That's all I can really say, like, at the moment. And I'm also thinking I gotta get going soon to meet up with family and whatnot, so I'm trying to get through this while also talking about the episode as much as I can. But next time, Akuma versus Shao Kahn. Hell yes! God, ever since I got into Death Battle, and I saw, oh, they had a fight with Akuma, and he's like the final boss of Street Fighter. Oh, they're having a fight with Shao Kahn, who's like the final boss of Mortal Kombat. Why are they fighting Shang Tsung and M. Bison? I got the theming of both, but I just kept thinking in the back of my head, like, they really should have fought each other, right? Well, now they are. Man, I am looking forward to that one. I don't know. Okay, my gut at the moment says Akuma, but I'm not sure because I know like Shao Kahn's like the top of Mortal Kombat, so he's gotta have like some like crazy stuff going on, right? But we shall see. Anyway, I should probably wrap this up. I've really got to get going. Anyway, thanks for watching, all of that stuff, and here is my Yang outro. Bye.
Thanks for watching You're Only Made on YouTube. You rock! Thanks for watching!